43:18. Do not remember the former things or ponder the things of the past. Beloved, how much more clear can he get? Do not remember the former things or ponder the things of the past. Listen carefully, he says. I am about to do a new thing. What did we talk about? The resurrection and the life was standing right in front of the women. And he is saying to them, I mean, the resurrection and the life. And he is about to raise Lazarus from the dead. It is a visual, a practical, natural act that was a visual to them. Listen carefully, I'm about to do a new thing. And he said that right after saying, don't ponder on the things of the past. Let it go. Remember, today we're talking about obedience and rebellion. We've talked about priorities. We've talked about that it's not predictive, it's declarative. The Lord has declared an invitation. Is it? See, we have to choose life or death. Will we choose to RSVP to that invitation, to respond, if you please? That's what RSVP means in French. Respond, if you please. Will we respond and listen carefully? Stop pondering on the things of the past and receive that he wants to do a new thing? But will we know it, believe it, and comprehend it, understand it, lay hold of it? That is our choice. That is our portion. He does this, and we get to choose whether we do that. Right? Now it will spring forth. Listen, now it will spring forth. You're probably familiar with that. This is what he says next. Will you not be aware of it? That's your part. Will you not be aware of it? I will even put a road in the wilderness and rivers in the desert. He's like, I am making the way. I'm putting the path straight out there, and I'm giving water beside it. He is providing. Verse 20, the beasts of the field will honor me, because I have given waters in the wilderness and rivers in the desert to give drink to my people, my chosen. 21, the people who I formed for myself will make known my praise. There is so much in that. I encourage you, go back to these videos and re-listen, chew on that, chew on this bread of life. Remember yesterday we talked about, or maybe the day before, don't settle for just breadcrumbs and be satisfied with entertainment and sending someone else to get the word and bringing it back to entertain you. Chew on this meat, because the journey requires grace and strength. And he is supplying all we need, all necessary for life and godliness is contained. You know, one of the things I learned growing up under my spiritual parents in the faith is the equipping for the journey is in the command. And it's not something you learn just by hearing that one time. You know, that continues, that word continues to work in me year after year, and now decade after decade. It is still revealing him to me, that the equipping is in the command. And as I grow closer, it grows stronger. I see it larger and larger. He is taking those limited tent pegs and he's like, let's budge them out a little bit more, Michelle. How's that feel? Do you trust me? Do you love me? Feed my sheep. Let's take them out a little bit more. Let's make this sheep pen a little bit bigger, right? Let's just take them out a little bit more. And sometimes I'm like, you are amazing and that is phenomenal, but can it really be for me? Aren't I? Whatever you fill in the blank. I'm not even going to say it. I'm not going to say my objections. I'm not going to give voice to them because I'm going to give voice to the word. I'm going to give yes to the invitation. See, I have finally learned in my silver age, you don't have to know how he would do it to believe that he will. Your mind can believe that he can for somebody, but your faith gets stretched into he can and will in and through me. If it's not his invitation, you don't have to worry about it. You're not going to fulfill what is not him. But if it is his invitation, he will fulfill it. He will watch over his word to perform it. He will do that part. Your part is to say, I say yes to the invitation to be a co-laborer with you in what you have already declared. Now, I want to stop today with a little testimony. If you know me, you know that I am an adventure chaplain and a mountain taker. And in 2012, during a time just like this, during these 21 days of the beginning of 2012, I was in prayer in spirit, and the Lord dropped into my spirit, I want you to prayer hike Mount Kilimanjaro for the glory of God. And I'm like, first, I was like, I'm in somebody else's river. Remember, he said he'd give the rivers. I'm in somebody else's river of the Spirit and I need out now. And I will be their cheerleader. I will cheer them on. That is awesome. What an awesome thing. But that is not the river I'm in. I don't like to sweat. I don't like to exercise. I do not own hiking boots. I mean, how ugly can you get, right? I'm high heels, HEELS, not HILLS. I am smell good, look good, fingernails, makeup, hair, the whole shebang. I am girly girl. And I like it that way. And yet I heard again in my spirit, I want you to climb Mount Kilimanjaro, prayer hike Mount Kilimanjaro to the glory of God. I'm like, God, why would I do that? Why would I do that? And he told me so clearly, it wasn't audible, but it was as close to audible as I have ever heard. Because love asked, and I want you to love those along the way. Love asked and love those along the way. It was so clear. So I came out of those 21 days. This was in 2012, in a time of 21 days of inspiration and consecration, just like this. I came out of those 21 days. And we had been fasting television and media and that type of thing at the same time. So I wasn't aware of anything that was happening on Christian television or public television. And a friend of mine, I can't remember if they called or messaged or what, said, you need to turn on God TV right now, because they knew I was coming off this. It must have been like the morning of the 22nd. Turn it on right now. There's something you need to hear. And when I turned it on, the CEO at that time of God TV, which is an international Christian broadcast television network, the CEO was talking about he and a few others were going to take a team from God TV and prayer hike Mount Kilimanjaro. Talk about being completely blown away. I'm like, this is no coincidence. You can't make this up. You can't make this up. To take someone like me and give me that strong word of the Lord when I'm fasting all media, and then have a friend say, turn on the TV right now. You got to hear this. And there he was releasing that. And so I wrote them a letter. I'm like, I know you don't know me, and this is my story. This is what has happened. This is what happened in fasting and prayer, and how I heard your broadcast. Because at that time, we couldn't get that on our TV. We had to get on the internet and see it, because mainly they were in Israel and Europe, and on the trying to get into the continent of Africa. Well, when God told me Mount Kilimanjaro, I had to look up what that was. And when I look it up, the tribal name for Mount Kilimanjaro translates to the mountain of the house of God. And it is the tallest freestanding mountain peak in the world. And that's where he wants me to get started prayer hiking. That's my first prayer hiking assignment, is to do this, because love asked and love those along the way. Talk about an opportunity, an invitation to an opportunity. But here's the thing. By faith, I had been trained up by the Spirit and the Word to know that the equipping is in the command. That's where I was getting with this story about Kilimanjaro. The equipping is in the command. And you intersect that equipping when you say yes. When you refuse rebellion, no matter how wild it seems, you refuse rebellion, you refuse saying no, you refuse saying, give it to somebody else, let somebody else go and come and tell me about it. And you simply say, I respond with yes. However that is going to happen, Lord, let it be to me. I agree with what you decree. Let it be to me. I agree with what you decree. And then my faith is on the equippings in the command. And you don't give access thought to anything but that. The equipping is in the command. Whatever his invitation for that presents itself to you, whatever the invitation is for that presents itself to you from God, the equipping for that is in the command. All of it. The Spirit and the Word are distributors to us of the equipping for God's big dream in us and through us. Our part, our co-laboring, is to agree with God. I'm going to stop for that for now. It's such a pleasure to be with you on these days and see what God is doing in all of us. May you be enriched and encouraged. Courage deposited in by the Spirit and the Word, by the flame and the sword. And I will be back with you again tomorrow. This is Dr. Michelle Everett with Great Faith Adventures.